Hi Year 1, today's lesson is all about measuring maths. So our anchor for learning today, you need to fill in the blanks using the words on the cards. The first sentence says, the scissors are something than the apples, and the second one says, the apples are something than the scissors. So you need to decide where the words heavier and lighter belong in these two sentences. You might want to pause it for a couple of minutes now so you can have a think before I tell you the answer. So for the first question, we can see that the scissors have moved up on their side of the scale. So that tells us that they are lighter than the apples. If we look at the apple side, that side has moved down, telling us that they are heavier than the scissors. Today we're focusing on measuring mass using the unit of cubes. If we look at this first image here of the balance scale, we can see that on one side we've got a pair and on the other side we've got 6 cubes. Now the pairs side of the scales has gone up and the cube side has gone down, and that tells us that the pair is lighter than 6 cubes. Moving on to the second one, we've got a caret on one side and we've got 4 cubes on the other. The caret side has gone down, whereas the side with 4 cubes on has gone up. That tells us that the caret is heavier than 4 cubes. Okay, on this set of balance scales, we've got an apple on one side and we have got 6 cubes on the other. And as you can see, the balance scales are level and they are balanced. Because they are balanced, we know that one apple weighs the same as 6 cubes. So there are some similar questions here. The first one says, what is the mass of the ball? So we've got the ball on one side and then we have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cubes. So we know the mass of the ball equals 5 cubes. This time we've got a cake on one side and then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cubes on the other. So we know that the mass of the cake equals 6 cubes. Remember, this only works when the scales are balanced. So this question is asking us to draw the blocks to balance the scale. So we've been told that the orange weighs 4 blocks and the pear weighs 5 blocks. So we need to work out what the total number of blocks is for this side. So we need to do the sum of 4 and 5. Okay, so you can try and work this out in your head by putting 4 in your head and then counting on 5. If you find that a bit tricky, then you could use a number line. So I'm going to put 4 in my head and then count on 5. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I know that the orange and the pear weighs 9 blocks. So to balance the scale, I need to draw the same number of blocks on this side. So I'm going to draw 9 blocks. 1, 2, 3. Okay. This time we've got a true or false question. It says the book weighs less than 10 acorns. Is this true or false? So we can see that the book has moved down on the scales and the 10 acorns have moved up. Because the book has moved down, that tells us that the book is heavier than 10 acorns. Or in other words, it weighs more than 10 acorns. The statement says the book weighs less than 10, so we know that must be false. Okay, this time we've got a reasoning question. Cheng is weighing objects. He says, I think one more acorn will balance the scale. Is he correct? Explain your answer. So looking at the scale, we can see he's got 6 acorns on one side and a teddy bear on the other. Now the 6 acorns have pulled the scales down, meaning that the acorns are heavier than the teddy bear. Now if Cheng was to add one more acorn to that side, he's only going to make it even heavier. So he's not going to balance the scale because that side is not going to go up if we add more acorns. What he would need to do is actually take acorns away to balance the scale because he needs to make this side a little bit lighter. So we know that Cheng is incorrect because adding more acorns will make that side heavier. And then we can even say he needs to take acorns away to balance the scales. Now there are a couple of questions for you to practice here. So pause the video for a while whilst you have a go at them, and then when you feel confident, you can move on to answering the white rose questions. Now, like yesterday, you can access the website by following this link. You can watch the short video and then answer questions 1 to 2 following this link and check your answers. When you've done silver, you can move on to some gold reasoning and problem solving questions. And then there's also some platinum challenges.